Hey everyone, welcome to this video lesson for Salt Creek. Now I've got my handy dandy capo here on the 2nd fret because we're playing this in the key of A, which is normally where it's played. But I'm just going to pretend like it's the key of G. So I've got a nice G chord and C chord and F chord here coming up. Now this tune's a standard A-A-B-B fiddle tune. My second A and second B are going to be a little bit different than the first ones, and it's not because that's the way I would teach it. When I first show this to students, I always teach 1A, 1B, and get that going first. But the reason I make a variation on the second A and second B is so that you can add more variations into your own playing. So often with my students, what we'll do is we learn that first A, and then maybe we even just take 2 bars or a small chunk out of the second variation and start mixing and matching it. And when you're comfortable doing that, you don't just get the 2 variations I show you, but you have any sort of mixing and matching that you like. So you can come up with your own variations. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the lesson, and we'll also probably talk about these licks and how you could vary them up just in your own little personal ways. But first, I'm going to play through the tune. At some point, I will play through it. If you've seen my videos before, you might notice this first playthrough has no tab in it. And that's not because there's no tab in the video. There will be tab when I go line by line through it, and there will be tab at the end when I go through a slow playthrough with the tab on the screen. But I always like to have this first playthrough without the tab so that people can maybe are a little prompted to use just their ears to figure it out, and if they get frustrated, they can watch where my hands are for more of an idea. I know with a lot of my students, they'll learn these tunes, and the first time maybe they'll just stare at the tab. But maybe 6 months later, they forget how to play it. And rather than go and stare at the tab again, maybe come back, watch the video, watch my hands, kind of figure it out by ear. Because the second time figuring out something by ear is a lot easier than the first. Okay, I will stop talking now and play through this. This sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not bad, there's a little bungle on that last lick, but that's okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the chords and the form. So we have an intro here with this, we're not going to talk about that in the form. So the form here, we have the A section, and the A section goes like this. We just need 3 chords, G, C, F, oh no, there's a D, which I often play as a D7 just because it's actually easier to get from the F to the D7. So I'll put those chords up on the screen. The A section goes like this. Ba da 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 ba dee boo da ba C, F da do ba F da do da F da do da D, G da ba da ba dee boo da ba C da ba F da 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 D, then G. And the F, you know, if you want to, it's sometimes easier to do this F with your thumb here and just leaving out that 5th string. We kind of make a little half F in this, so I'll do that. I'll do the A section repeats, so I'll do that again, but I'll use this F. 3, 4, G da da ba ba dee boo da ba C, then F da do ba dee da da ba dee da da ba D, or D7, G da ba da ba dee doo da ba C, then we got the F da 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 D, then G. A section is much harder because of the chords are in a weird harmonic rhythm, so the A section is very weird in this, and we'll talk a little bit about this when we get into the licks. Just one thing to recognize is these tunes normally have this resolution point on the 3rd beat, right? Boo doo 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 1 2 3. Boo doo 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 ba doo ba 3. 1 2 3 4 ba ba da ba 3. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. So we have this kind of strange thing. It's a really good way to come up with licks. This form is really forcing you to have this phrasing that's maybe a little strange. Okay, now the B section is much easier. Boo da ba da da ba dee boo da ba da da ba F da da ba dee boo da ba dee boo da ba da, then G da ba da da ba dee boo da ba da, then F da ba da ba D, then G, then repeats. Boo da ba da da ba dee boo da ba da da ba dee doo da ba dee doo da ba da ba da ba doo da 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 ba dee doo da 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 ba dee boo da ba dee ba da ba da ba da. Again, the ending, that G comes in on beat 3. Da 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 ba da ba da ba 3. And actually, because the last 2 bars of the A section and the last 2 bars of the B section are the same, you can kind of do whatever you want. Like, you know, when you listen to people play that tune, those 2 bars are like kind of quite a bit different. I think I've copied a couple licks in this arrangement from Molly Tuttle and Tony Rice and stuff, but you know, you could kind of come up with your own stuff. We'll talk about that. Actually, let's do that right now. So let's talk a little bit about these licks, and particularly that last lick. So we have that last lick is not normally, like, we want to resolve on beat 1. We have that F, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, G. And that can be a little bit awkward for people to, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But it's even more complicated than that. People can kind of simplify it down and leave out that, but they'll normally do a pickup, and they start on beat 4. So you get this 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So that's like what, 4, 5, 6. That's a 7-beat lick where you resolve on like the 8th beat, which is actually quite weird. So actually, let me put up just the first lick that I do here. I do this one. Right? So 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So just getting that phrasing is a little bit weird, but it is a nice thing to play with. Just getting 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can just, like, if you don't like that lick, there's little ways you can kind of change it around, right? Like, the easiest thing is this F sharp at the end. That's a very strong sound. If you want a weaker one, you could put the E in there, right? So the 2nd fret as opposed to the 4th fret, you'd get this, right? Which is kind of a smoother sound. I don't like it as much in this tune. If you want to make it bluesier, you can put an F note in there, 3rd fret, right? B flat. You know, there's all these little variations. You start to learn like what notes kind of give you what kind of colors and phrases. So the other licks I do, the next time I do this lick, I do this. What do I do? Right? 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That one's kind of a little more exciting because it goes up a little bit higher. The next one I do, right? That one's kind of nice just because it has this, it's the C sharp, D flat. Well, technically it's D sharp, but it's a bluesy, like, it's a little more of a bluesy note. Right? We could even, you know, spend a little bit of time trying to figure out your own licks here. If you get comfortable with the licks that I have, go, you know, and it could be just kind of random. You could take whatever scale or interesting thing you want. You could even go like, okay, I want to land on this on beat, was that beat 3? So we got, what did we say? It was like, it was 7 full beats, right? So you could think of whatever 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and, okay, so you'd have to start on that note. That would be ridiculous. 1, 2, 3. Right? Okay, I like this idea. Right? Like, that's just straight up chromatic. I'm just literally like, however many notes below 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And you can do the same thing going up higher too, but I'm getting off. The last lick I'll just show you here. This one's a little bit different. 1, 2, 3. Still the same rhythm, right? 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. This one comes from, if you that sounds a bit of a weird thing. It's a little bit of a harp scale in the way that I'm using a mixture of open strings and higher position stuff, but that sound is kind of you see that, you hear that relatively often. If you haven't heard that sound before, I really like it. But essentially what you're doing is you're mixing, like, I'm going to say G, but it is technically A, like an A minor pentatonic with an open G major pentatonic, because a G major pentatonic is just the open strings. So if you mix the minor pentatonic with open strings, it's a way of kind of mixing those two scales together in a weird way that works. Anywho, that was a lot of talk, licks and stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's talk about the tab. We're going to go through the tab here. So the intro is just this. Now, it's written down very simple. I think it's written as a slide. I'd probably do it as a hammer-on. That's the phrase. I do it 4 times, but you'll notice when I do it, I get a little sloppier and sloppier as I go. You just, build up the sound. You could be dynamically just picking those notes exact, or you can just get open strings as much as you want there. Okay, let's take a look at this first A section. Tab looks like this. Right? Lots of cool. This is a very banjo thing to me. I love this on guitars where you're having these slides. From like instead of hitting this note twice, G, G, we're gonna go G and then slide to G. Very cool. Lots of this stuff going on through this tune. So that was the first line. Yep, I'll just point out that we land on the C note when the C happens. When the F happens, we land on this A note, which is part of the F. Okay, second line of this A section. Same. Now that's it. This is the lick in this one. There we go. That's the first A section. Let's take a look at the second A section. Oh, I got the licks in the wrong order because I was looking at this differently. Okay, so the second A section looks like this. This is the first line. Right, there you go. That one's kind of cool because it starts out exactly the same, but then you're different. Now here, I like those sliding licks, so I just wanted to do more of them. So we've got this second line. Right, and that's actually like, I mean, I've got, but you could, or, that's what I did the first time. It's kind of more of the thing to my ear when I'm doing that is less of a melodic thing and more of just the sound of ba boo ba boo ba boo, like kind of getting these same notes over and over again with slides involved. Okay, let's move on. Oh, one thing, that's easy. Let's look at the B section. Now the B section's a little bit harder here. So the first B section is more along the lines fiddle players play it. The variation of the B section that I play, the second one, is very much the way Tony Rice plays it, which is where I think most guitar players get it. It's got this big stretchy thing that we do that's kind of cool. It's nice to learn one to start. I kind of like learning the more, to my ear, it's a little more traditional. It's not so like, oh, here's a guitar shape that we just move around. So that's why I teach this first B section first. But let's take a look at this B section. So we have this fifth here. We're going to bar it. That's our first phrase. Then we have the second phrase. Now those two notes are just kind of rhythmic. But notice that we have that same thing where we're kind of like ending on beat 3, right? 3. I should have counted the other once. Okay, now we take a look at the second line. Starts exactly the same. So the first 2 bars are the same. Now we got a lick, and this is the lick I'm choosing to do. Right, and that's that one. And any of these licks will work in any spot because they all kind of basically do the exact same thing. So if you learn one of these licks, you can just do that every time you get to the last 2 bars. Okay, so let's move on here. This is the B section variation. So on this B section variation, we take this shape, and it's a variation on what we were doing. But we're going to change it a little bit to get this 6 in here. So that's the shape. Do-da, do-da, da-da-dee-da-dee-da, do-da. And then on the F chord, we just go, why not do something different? We'll just move down to an F and do the exact same thing. Do-da, do-da, da-da-dee-da-da-da, do-da. This is a cool shape too now, and if you're playing in the key of G or something, or you can even do that if you're improvising and you got, let's say a song goes C and then D, you could just go, this is a C chord here. Then D is 2 frets higher. It's kind of a cool lick that you can see with just those fingers. Yeah, there are two different ways of playing when you have this stretch. Lots of guitar players, when you're doing this, specifically in a bluegrass context, you do this first finger, middle finger, and pinky finger. You could do it first finger, third finger, and pinky finger. The idea here is either you're stretching your pinky forward, right? Like you're going, I'll say 5 here, 5, 6, 7, and then stretch to 8 if you need that note. Or you move it up a fret and you're stretching your first finger back, which is the way that I'm doing it. And I think the main reason, especially in a bluegrass context, that you do it this way is that sometimes you want your third finger to grab that B flat. Right? So you have this. Right? It's kind of a nice little thing to do. So generally, I recommend when you're doing this stretch here that you're doing it with first finger on the bar and then middle finger and pinky. And we just don't use our third finger for that. Okay, so that was that first line. I'll play it one more time. Now it starts the exact same way. Now, because this one ends right before beat 4, we start right with this like, you can see there's no separation here. The lick starts again on beat 4 here. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. But you can't tell that from the tablature. At least I didn't put like a little mark there. But so let's take a look at that lick again. And if you know that G minor pentatonic, you might notice that's all I'm doing is I'm kind of going 2 notes down in the pentatonic, open string. 2 notes down in the minor pentatonic, open string, 2 notes down in the minor pentatonic. And again, if you didn't watch this whole video from the beginning, you might not have heard me say this sound, this lick sound, is where you're taking this minor pentatonic and using just the open strings, which come from the major pentatonic. And you're combining them in kind of an interesting way that I often think of these as harp scales, because you're allowing the open strings to ring out over top of these notes. That's what I wanted. Okay, there you go. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me play through this whole thing one more time with the tab on the screen at a nice slow tempo. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Oh, slower than that. Ba-do-do-ba-do-2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Too far. Alright, good luck. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time. Bye.